if you can't win, don't lose is a well-worn footballing phrase. Does it apply to Arsenal tonight?
Well, we know that the margins are very small. I think we have two different halves. The first one where we have a lot of domination, created some big situation with players almost inside the 6-yard box to pick a player up, and we didn't find the right pass to score the goal. And the second half was a bit more struggle. We were very imprecise with the ball, which it didn't allow us to counter press and be very close to the structure. Obviously, they have a lot of midfielders. They start to drop everybody so they can put a lot of passes together outside the organization without really having anybody in the box, because I don't think we conceded a single shot, apart from the mistake that we did in the first half. But these games then need some magic moment. And at Anfield, so was like did it, and they won the game. And today it didn't happen, but you cannot win it, that you cannot lose it.
You said before the match, you kind of knew how they would play from seeing their team. Did they do what you expected?
Yeah.
2 years, or it would be. And so, of course, it's going to be tense, but in the context that Arsenal actually led by 2 points on Christmas Day. And moving on to the 27th, City actually went first that day. So Arsenal went into their game in second place, as Patrick was explaining there to Mikel Arteta. He didn't need reminding, actually. But from that point, to be behind and now to be leading 6 points, then surely that is something that Arsenal have to be very happy about, Roy.
I'd be very pleased, and he spoke well there, the manager, a lot of common sense, yeah. Listen, of course, they've got big challenges, disappointed with the performance, I suppose, tonight, but a clean sheet, another point, and you're 6 points clear after 21 games. What a position to be in, absolutely fantastic, but you have to still believe Man City and Aston Villa will keep trying to hunt them down. It'll be interesting the next few weeks in terms of the transfer window. Will players, obviously, will clubs strengthen? We see what City were going to do. Will Arsenal strengthen? But at this moment in time, Arsenal, obviously, red-hot favourites to win that title.
But might they see it as a missed opportunity, Daniel, as by the same token?
No, I think they'll be pleased with the point. Of course, the first half performance, they would have thought that they could have scored there. But look, they're comfortable at the top of the league right now. They've been performing very well and beaten over the Christmas period. I mean, the manager will be very proud of his team. Considering where they've come from and all that they've put into this season, he's got to be happy.
Well done for maintaining your poise as Gary arrives
dishevelled
in a heap next to you. We're just hearing from Mikel Arteta, Gary. Welcome back. On whether this was a missed opportunity or whether they should actually be really happy with where they are. 6 points clear, having been 2 points ahead at Christmas.
I think both. I mean, I don't think he'll let that performance go tonight without thinking it's disappointing that his team haven't turned up. It's such a big game where the crowd were ready. It wasn't a celebration night where they were going to win the league, but it felt like a big monumental moment where they could go and get that 8 points clear, statement victory, everybody watching. But brilliant what Liverpool did in the second half. It's very difficult to actually turn a performance around when you're so defensively minded like they were, to go and then flip it into a dominating possession-based performance in the second half. That was the big surprise, and I think it shocked Arsenal.
That's right, but that took the steam out of Arsenal, didn't it? It's not as if they were counter-attacking them. They were just looking after the ball and took the sting out of the game, extra bodies in midfield. OK, there's no cutting edge going forward, but they controlled the game in the midfield area, and Arsenal kind of know what to do.
It was a case of moments, wasn't it, Daniel? Mikel Arteta referred to it.
To be in, those are the types of balls you want.
11 against 10, and they didn't show, what it takes, sometimes to go and win that game. They did it against City here as well in September when they conceded the first goal, and they were losing confidence. But I remember, I don't know, guys, we won titles, and we all know that winning the Premier League is very difficult, and sometimes, you get points after points, It's a long way to go. So today, I think, at the end of the season, that could be a very good point.
Yeah, and I think if you look at Mikel Arteta, if you said to him before this midweek set of games, Arsenal had the toughest, game playing against Liverpool. So Manchester City, you'd have expected them to win. Aston Villa had a game as well. They've got out of these set of fixtures, one game less, a difficult game out the way, and no deficit in terms of against their rivals. So overall, okay, little bit of a missed opportunity maybe, But I think if you said to Mikel Arteta 2 days ago, you're still all going to be, on the same points as Villa, Manchester City and Arsenal, it's still going to be 6 points ahead, he would have absolutely been delighted, because that's the hardest game of the lot.
Yeah, and we don't have to play Liverpool again. You know what I mean? The way I see it, obviously, from an Arsenal point of view and an Arsenal fan point of view, I don't like to see Bukayo Saka being taken off. As much as, Noni Madueke came on and done well, I like to see Saka a match stay on. If you're going to bring Madueke, bring him on for someone else, because I just want the best players on to give us the best possible chance in the end to maybe take that corner, whatever it is, what he can do, Saka, to be on the pitch to do that. So I know that he needs rest as well, but I'm always baffled to see a player of that calibre, that good, being taken off for someone else. I was very surprised with that.
Manu?
Well, he's not the only one, that has not been very good today. I think he had a good first 25 minutes. He took advantage, on Kerkez many times, but they were missing, technical skills at the end for the passes and great movement as well in the penalty area. But he was not the only one. I think Odegaard as well had a very difficult game. Gyökeres as well. So there is so many players who have been frustrated today.
But overall, Manu, before we let you go, 1 defeat in 18 Premier League games.
That's what I'm saying.
They're learning, they're gaining experience and belief all the time, aren't they?
Of course, and I remember, I don't know if you remember him, but again, when we won the title in 1998, we had a game during winter in the midweek. No, against Liverpool.
Against Liverpool.
We drew 0-0, and we were booed by the fans at the end.
Yes.
It was a terrible game. We were terrible. We didn't deserve to get...
Even Wrighty was terrible, wasn't he?
We all were terrible. It was a frozen night,
It was freezing, yeah.
We drew 0-0, and we thought ourselves, we didn't deserve to win that game, but at the end we won the title.
Yes.
Let's hope that's an omen.
Yes.
Listen, good to see you. Thank you very much indeed. Manu Petit, as always, with us. Let's get some more Arsenal reaction now. Here's the skipper, Martin Odegaard.
Well, Martin, in the circumstances, does it feel like at least a half-decent point, or you stood there thinking, nah, 2 dropped?
Obviously, I wanted to win, so it's always 2 points dropped when you don't do that. We have to look at where we are. We're in a good position. We've had some incredible games, good run of games, good results. And when you can't win, then at least make sure you don't lose. And we'll take the point and move on. So some lessons to learn from the game, but in the end it's a point and we move on.
What did you make of the flow of the match and how that changed first half to second half? I presume you'd agree, first half you were well on top, and that changed in the second 45 minutes.
Yeah, for sure. I think we were the better team in the first half, controlled pretty much everything, and had a few good moments where we could have maybe scored a goal or whatever. And then second half, they had the ball a lot, they controlled it, but at the same time I felt like they didn't create much. I feel like they only had the 2 shots from that free kicks, pretty much. We could have done more in the second half to create a bit more, but they didn't do much. So I guess the point is a fair result in the end. So yeah.
How much of a factor were conditions? It was, especially that first 20 minutes, really wet.
Yeah, no, it was. But that's football here in England. That happens sometimes, and it's a part of the game. And I don't think that affected the game at all, to be fair. Big
picture, though, 6 points clear. Obviously, being negative, it could have been 8. But I mean, I've spoken to the manager. As you kicked off against Everton, you're actually second in the table. So if you take it as a few weeks or a month's worth of work, it's a good return. Yeah, we know where we are. We're where we want to be, at the top of the table, and it's not easy to be there in this league. And we have to be happy where we are and make sure we improve all the time. Today we could have done a few things better, but in the bigger picture we're in a really good position. And we just have to keep going, keep building, and keep improving. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, 16 points from 18, as we've been mentioning, 6 points clear. And it is important to remember, if you said to Mikel Arteta in August, right, middle of January, you're going to draw 0-0 with Liverpool and be 6 points clear at the top of the table.
With the squad that you've built this season, absolutely would. The only other game I've been as disappointed as this one was the Wolves game here, and we won that one. I always say that we have to win all our own games, but if you're going to play Liverpool and play as poorly as we did and still get a point and be 6 points ahead, we can't complain with that. You know what I mean? Because it's still going to be a good point come the end of the season, depending on how close this gets. So you've got to take the points, take the positivity, and move to the next game.
Yeah, and they're there to be shot at now, as they have been for weeks, which brings I know you want to be top in some ways with 6 more points, but it brings a new added pressure that they haven't had. They've always been the ones relatively chasing Liverpool or City in the last few years.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, to be the champions, you don't get it handed on a plate. It's going to be difficult. And it's a long time to be in front. But while they've got that cushion, it does take the pressure off. If you're only 2 points clear and you think, oh, one slip up and it could be the other way around, but while they've got this cushion, it does take that pressure off a little bit. So they're in a wonderful position. They're not conceding many goals at all. They've got lots of different options in attack. Yes, they didn't score today, but that was a clash of the big hitters today. Reigning champions against champions elect. It was first one to blink, really. I thought it might be a few goals. The conditions were wet and a little bit blustery, but I thought there might have been a few goals, and maybe if there had been an early goal, it would have opened up. But you know, both sets of defenders, both pairs of centre halves are as good as you're going to see in world football at the minute. You've just probably seen 4 central defenders. Yes, Konate's not had a great season, maybe Van Dijk as well, but in general, that's as good as you'll watch in world football.
Michael's saying they've got good attacking options. We had a good discussion about Gyökeres before the game. He lasted 64 minutes today. You just heard Mikel Arteta saying we had 2 or 3 deliveries into the penalty area and we didn't have anyone on the end of them. How can he improve this, Wrighty?
Well, this is what you think you've bought. Because listen, you want people to score. You want them to take chances when the chances come. But when you're paying the kind of monies that you pay now for the strikers, what you want more movement. You want to be trying to getting yourself in the middle of the box. Whatever happens, if you watch this run, what's being made. You know, at some stage, you've got to think to yourself, can I pull out? I can't keep just going. Look at this one. Konate, look, nothing. It's a ball in. At some stage, you know that ball's coming. You've got to do more to at least get away from him. This is what I'm saying. This is the things that he has to do. And at the moment, we're not getting enough in that respect because, again, like the first half, you know, you're going to get games like this where it's going to be tight and it can take movement. I talk about Šeško's goal against Burnley. You know, great cross. You know the cross is coming in. Brilliant movement before and great finish. Those are the things that makes the difference in these games. That moment, those moments, Mike, that might be all you get because you look at his touches, you know, what he's had in the game, whatever it is. I don't know how many touches he had in the first half.
7.
7. The fact is, I remember Haaland last season, I think it was against Forest. I think they said he had 11 touches. He scored 3 goals. No one cares. I don't care if I've had 5 touches, but one of them's a goal. I don't care. And the way you do that is when you're in the box, you make that movement. You cause defenders problems by moving. I think he's too static in the box. So when the ball's coming, it's either going behind him or he's not anticipating and making movements to make things happen. He's not gambling enough.
And when you look at his numbers there, 3 goals from open play, and they're against, no disrespect to him, Burnley, Everton, Nottingham Forest. In a blockbuster like this, he hasn't registered a single goal yet in a big clash for Arsenal.
We were on the pitch about 4 or 5 minutes before kick-off and we were discussing him. I said then, the jury's out, and I still feel the same way at the moment. Listen, fortunately for Arsenal, they've got lots of other players that can,
That's key,
that can
isn't
score
it?
goals.
Because if they were really, really relying on him with those numbers, they
Yeah.
wouldn't be top of the league.
They wanted him to put the finishing touches on this team, and they're probably still searching for that person. You know, if the Champions League final was tomorrow night, I'm not sure he would start. They will continue and they will persist with him, of course, because they paid so much money. You want to give him all the chance in the world. And you know what? Against the Burnleys, against the Nottingham Forest, against the Everton, or whoever it might be, he probably is going to score a lot of goals. He can finish. He will be in the box. But, you know, to win these games, you need a bit of class. You just need a bit of class, and I think that's where he lacks.
You know what it is? It's in these games when you do have a game like this. Yes, we've been playing well coming into it. I was saying 2, maybe 3-0 today, just because of the way we've been playing. But when you do get a game like this, you do need somebody who's out of nothing, say, oh, he's done nothing all game, but he's scored the winning goal. Because sometimes you get games like this, you don't get many touches, like I said, but you get that goal, you win it 1-0, and people say, yes, that's what we bought him for. But at the moment, we're still not quite seeing that, and hopefully there's enough games coming in before the end of the season. Hopefully that will happen, because I think we're going to need to see something.
There's a bit of a saying, isn't there? A flat track bully. I think he could be that type, you know. Playing at home against lesser teams, he'll score your ones, your twos, maybe even the odd hat-trick or whatever. He'll take the penalties. At the end of the season, you'll look at it and probably think, do you know what? He's got into double figures, not a bad return. However, when you look closely at it, did he make a difference in the big games, the ones that you really need your big players? And sadly, so far, only half of the season gone, but sadly, so far, it's a no. And at the moment, as I say, the jury is definitely still out.
But when you look at the options available on that graphic, that's helping at the moment, isn't it? Because, as I say, there isn't a sole reliance. Quite the opposite to Manchester City, what people are saying about City, actually, where if Erling Haaland goes 3 games without a goal, City aren't scoring, they aren't winning.
Yeah, but we have got goals. And again, this is why I'm very surprised to see Saka coming off, because he's one of our main goal scorers. But, you know, Jesus is still coming back after a long injury. He looks very sharp. You got Kai Havertz is coming soon as well. We know Mikel Moreno can play out there, he can score. We know Trossard can score goals. We know Gabriel from the back can score. So we've got goals.
Is that taking some of the heat off Gyökeres, do you think?
Without a doubt, because if those guys weren't doing that, with the money that we've paid, there would be a lot more noise around him. And it's these moments where, like I say, if I was playing in this team, you know, coming from the league he's come from, all I'd be working on is my movement in the box. My first touch to make sure I link it, get it out there, get in the box and let them know when you get it. I know when you cut inside back onto your left foot, Bukayo, I'm going to be zooming across that first post. If you get to the line, I'm going to drop out and I'm going to make sure I come and attack it, because I know you're going to have to chip it up. I'm letting them know what I want. Martin Odegaard, if you're running through, I'm going to go to the left and then I'm going to cut across him, so you put it through and I go across him, so then I'm able to go into it and then have my shot. These are the things I'll be saying to them in training, because there's so much going on with Arsenal. They've got so much going on through the pitch. You deal with the area. That's what we're paying you to do. Anything that comes into and then around that area is your domain. So you own it. Own that domain and let them know. Put that ball in for me, because I'm making the runs. At the moment, he's not.
And let's flip it the other way. Like Wright, saying with some of his teammates, and go on a goal-scoring run, then surely, with the goals coming from elsewhere, Arsenal will look formidable at the top of that table.
Well, every other team is probably thanking the lucky stars that they haven't got a centre-forward that's scoring plenty of goals at the moment. And, you know, they're not easy to find. You know, you look at the Premier League, who people have signed over the last season to come into the Premier League. Sesko, OK, he scored a couple last night, but he's not hit the ground running. You look at, you know, Gyökeres, not really. Voltemade is probably the one that's
Liverpool with Nunes even,
exactly.
85 million.
Isak hasn't scored too many goals, but he was already a Premier League player. But the Premier League have got lots of, you know, the team's got lots of them. They're bringing some of the best players that are on the market from around the world, and not many of them are hitting the ground running. There's a dearth of centre forwards in world football at the moment. You know, players like, you know, Gyökeres scoring dozens and dozens of goals in a season in Portugal. Bring them to the Premier League, it's a different ball game. So, yeah, there's not that many out. I feel sorry for Mikel Arteta in a way, in that he knows that was the problem. And you search around the world and you think, right, we've got a big pot of money to spend. What are our options? There are not that many options around, as you can quite clearly see. So not an easy position to fill at the moment. And as we all know, Arsenal are doing so well that it's probably being papered over the cracks at the minute. But the bottom line is, the jury is out. I'm not sure he's the long-term answer.
You know, the thing is, even though, like, talking about Sesko, and I won't stop, because I was quite pleased to see the goal what he scored, the second goal especially. And the movement, because then you can do all those things that I said about getting the ball in the box, because now I know Dorgu, he knows I'm just witnessing because he's making movement. Just seeing him do that movement makes me, I feel a lot more confident in what he is capable of doing once the ball gets in the box, because I know